here's a brief overview of some items that I'm going to go through. Some user display, legend enhancements. Going back to the theme, you're going to hear a lot of common sense navigation, user experience of long lists, filtering that I'm sure many partners on the call here and field users have lamented maybe for a while when dealing with large lists, and units accomplished and inspection improvements. And I want to stress that we're getting to the point now where we're starting to be able to incorporate certain enhancements, not only bug fixes, into mobile service packs for version 11. So this won't be the end of the road, nor will I be presenting every single enhancement just due to time constraints. Okay, so the first, who am I logged in as? I don't know how many times as a partner I did end user training for mobile, and we had 30 tablets, phones, and they would get up for break, right? Go to lunch, just like we did here, wash their hands, come back, and people talk, and devices get juggled around the room, and they log in and realize, what am I looking at? You know, my display doesn't look anything like this. So we just wanted to add something simple to show who you're logged in as. So on your home menu for CityWorks now, you can always see who the active user that you're logged in as is. Moving on, more common sense stuff, and this may border a little above common sense, but still a nice feature, ease of use feature, is when you open your legend from the map. It used to be pre-version 11, 15.8, right? That you could only toggle visible layers, but not selectable layers all at once, on or off. Now we went ahead and added both. So I can toggle, as you can see over here, both visible and selectable. So I can clear everything out, right? And then I can just pick the asset, whether it's a hydrant or a meter that I'm out there to go ahead and go work on. I just think that's easy. You know, low-hanging fruit for anybody to just be able to do that. Inspections. So in AMS inspections, I know we've all asked this question. Why is the panel named panel? When I click on one of the left panels, as you can see over here, we've got our different panel names. I would click on one of these and it would say panel instead of what I clicked on fire hydrant status. Now it says fire hydrant status, right? Which is what I would want to see, because otherwise I might get lost in the field with everything going else. You know, with everything else going on, driving around, stop to stop, right? It's nice to see the panel you're on. So common sense enhancement. Following along with the AMS strategies, description. So this was a fairly newer field for AMS inspections, and what it basically is a little more text about what the question's asking. So length of break, feet, yeah, that's okay. But in some cases, you might have a user or a new user, somebody training perhaps, or your text fields are too long, right, to display well or legibly even on a mobile device. So we added a description field this time around to be able to employ to add extra detail to what is being asked of the inspector. We also added, this is one that's been out there for a little while, as I saw, just being able to sign, right? A lot of people want to have a record. Some of these things are very expensive, you know, and have a lot of repercussions. When we start to talk about consent decree, SSO inspections, right? It's important to capture these signatures and be able to attach them and have them time and date stamped. And now that's what we've done for these inspections, as we can see. Not saying the signatures will always be legible. Okay, a lot of stuff going on here for something very simple with the slides. Sorry. But I just think that it's going to have so many positive impacts once people get used to it. So units accomplished. Boy, it has been out there for a long time too. And it's something that has been asked for in the mobile UI. How many and how many of what, right? Whether it's acres, counts, pots and pans, clap your hands, right? It's finally here. And so you can see the units accomplished field right here. And we can see that we've entered a count of 2. We selected count if it's not locked already. If it is locked in designer or in admin, it will be pre-chosen. In the work order, we can see how that translates in the mobile user interface. And what this is going to play into in our next slide here is consistency in reporting, right? And I'll explain that a little more now. So previously, how did we record counts of things if we used the mobile app? Well, really, your only choice was to put them in a custom field category, while other users may have been using units accomplished for exactly the same purpose, right? So we might be counting, you know, how many fire hydrants we painted in custom fields and in units accomplished in different parts of the software. And I don't think that's good for anybody, especially not reporting accuracy. When you're starting to have to go through, anybody that knows reporting, custom field categories can be a little tricky. And you're joining them with, you know, units accomplished. Well, now you can start using units accomplished in mobile at version 11. So I'm glad to get that one up. Another common sense enhancement, adding costs. I have to scroll through what just to find my pipe, length of pipe. I have to scroll through 563 items. We've had, you know, this was one of my big things too on the partner side before I came here. And this is why I was excited to step on board, one of the many reasons. But opportunities like this just to improve the software from a user perspective and seeing what users go through in the field. If you have a client that doesn't have a huge storeroom staff, they're not going to have trucks down to 30, you know, per storeroom and keep them accurately in inventory and checked and configured. It's not realistic, right? Economically, especially right now. So we wanted to do something about this just to ease the burden on the mobile user. So in any of these fields, equipment, labor, material, we can go right here and there'll be a little video of this. I can type or talk if I have dictation enabled on Android or iOS devices. I guess Google Speak on Google. But I would be mad if I had to scroll through 900 items or 563 or even more than 30 to find what I'm looking for, or sad. But we wanted to change that arrow back to the other side of that mood spectrum we're showing. So it's not quite an asset analysis, but more of a usability and mood analysis that we're trying to solve here. And here's just a quick demo. I'm going to zip through this. This is why I didn't do the whole thing in video, the screen size, but I clicked on material, add, and I'm going to look at this field here under the search, and I can see I have a big storeroom or a big list in Cruise, right? And I'll start looking for my iron pipe. I just added 400 items to that storeroom, and that's how long it took for me to filter it. So no more scrolling. That is the goal. I'm going to try to go to the next slide. There we go. So this filtering, keyword searching, dictation, it all comes down to filtering, really. Here's where it's available now, pretty much everywhere on the AMS side. We're looking into adding this in other areas, along with adding the barcoding feature, the scanning feature, right? That's inherent to most modern mobile devices. To utilize that too, kind of plays into what Brad presented earlier, which was great. So we want to make this the full spectrum, in other words, whether it's coming from a crew or storeroom, serialized, we're going to try to make it work all together. That's the goal. We're getting, but this was the first step, and it's already going to help users cut down on their time and frustration with using the mobile app a lot. So like I said, with feature enhancements, we're not just going to we're going to attempt to not do these at just the major version level anymore. We'd like to be progressive enough to where we can squeeze in, and we already have been working on 11.1, where we've already squeezed in some enhancements there. Some of them, are cases that are it's like, yes, this makes sense and we can do this, and it doesn't affect anything else with the API schema. It's there, no reason not to do it, right? All they have to do is upgrade. So predefined instructions. Everybody knows on the mobile tablet, a lot of people, the instructions display because that's what they're supposed to do. If there's an SOP, it's going to display instructions, but we don't want people trying to type in there on mobile because they're not in the office, or supervisors are telling people what to do. So that label's just changing to predefined, so you don't get people trying to type in there. Comments are service request caller information is going to be added right now to the main request user interface, so they can reference if a caller that they're at their parcel or house requested a callback, right? So they can kind of kill two birds with one stone, for lack of a better term. But common sense enhancements like that, that's what we want to do for our end users. So I think that is pretty much all I have.